What's going on, everyone? ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. Today's review, we're going to take a look at the DC Collectibles DC Essentials Superman action figure. This is, I want to say, one of the closest iterations that we're going to get to like a classic-looking Superman with the trunks on the outside. There are some differences. He does have the cuffs, I want to say, a little bit of reminiscent from the Rebirth Superman, but other than that, I think this is probably the closest you're going to get to a traditional looking Superman. Switching it around to the top of the package, it has a nice Superman logo, nice yellow and red Superman logo right there. On the side has a picture of the figure, and it says Superman on the bottom with the figure number on the very bottom. So it looks pretty cool there. On the back, we have a nice little very short synopsis of the DC Essentials line. Flipping it around back to the front, let's not waste any more time. Let's get this out of package and we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back with Superman out of packaging, and kind of have some mixed feelings about this line in general, even mixed feelings about this figure. The problem, the real big thing, the real big glaring issue is the quality control issues with the joints on his wrists and his ankles. Now, I don't have any issue with mine as far as his ankles go. I have seen a multitude of reviews, and I want to put these thoughts out there because I want to make the point. The ankle joints, the joints in general, just have issues with being loose straight out of package, and that's, to me, I've always been this way as a reviewer. It's completely unacceptable to get a brand new figure that's loose jointed and all of that. I mean, there's even loose joints with Mythic Legions. There's loose joints with a lot of figures, and any figure that comes with loose joints straight out of package is it's a big knock against it. The other issues that I have seen with some of the other reviewers' figures is that they have paint issues, they have sculpting issues with quality control. They'll have like a big glob on the face. Or the hairlines won't be painted properly. The other issue is that obviously his belt loops, which I know a lot of DC fans, I'm a DC fan too, a lot of DC fans have pointed that out. So I'm not going to focus on just the belt loops not being painted because there's other glaring issues that these have. The other one is definitely it's the price point. The price point kills these. And the other major glaring issue is that if you're going to charge us around $27 for the figures, you've got to include some accessories. The fact that Superman doesn't even come with extra hands it makes absolutely zero sense to me. Now, mine has a little bit loose. He's a little bit loose in his hands or his wrist joints, excuse me. But I don't have any issues really that I can see with any other. Obviously, his ankles are fine on mine; they're nice and stiff. And I was like praying to the action figure gods that mine wouldn't be loose. So I got lucky with mine. But who's to say that it's kind of a crapshoot if you're going to get a loose jointed figure. Overall, there is also another glaring issue, and that is the clear plastic that is painted between the T-jointed bar going across here, holding his legs on, and that's attached to his hips. Clear plastic breaks easy. It's brittle. It's crap. It's garbage. It should not be used in 2018. Period. End of discussion. He also, I don't know if this is clear plastic, but I do know that DC Collectibles likes to paint their clear plastic to give off the illusion that it's not a clear plastic. So there is that issue as well. So I'd be kind of careful. You got to be kind of careful with these. I don't 100% trust them as far as longevity goes. Does it look good? Yes, it looks very aesthetically pleasing to the eye, or appealing to the eye. But at the end of the day, he doesn't come with anything. He comes with an open hand and a closed hand. I mean, at least if you're going to give us a Superman figure, give us two closed hands. I don't need an open hand. Superman flies with his fists forward, his two fists forward. So, I mean, if you're going to do that, give us two fists or give us an extra hand. At least one extra hand so we can interchange the open hand with the fist hand. But I like the face sculpt overall. There's a little bit of paint slop going on his cheek right there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's some black markings. Looks like quality control issue right there. But I don't have any defects like paint or whatchamacallit, not paint, but sculpting defects from the factory like I've seen in some other reviews. I think the head sculpt looks really good. Some people don't like the head sculpt, but I think it looks pretty dang good, to be honest with you. Let me get in a little bit closer so you can see the face sculpt here. Like I said, I think it looks really good. I don't really see the glaring issue of why some people don't like the face sculpt. I think it's a very nice, definitive looking Superman face sculpt. Some people actually had an issue with how the head sits on the neck or how the neck is skinny. I'm not going to nitpick that too much. Should it be a little bit thicker? Sure, but that's not really a deal breaker. A deal breaker is something like loose joints, breakage issues, poor paint, poor quality control. So those would be deal breakers. But overall I like the sculpt. I think it looks really good. There's the cuffs as I was referring to, so it's not your 100% guaranteed traditional Superman. I like the S on his chest. It looks pretty good. It does come off a little bit small, but it's not the worst. I don't know if I prefer. I think I always prefer like a big Superman logo on his chest. But then again, if it was so big, it would look a little bit awkward, almost like it would be too big. But I kind of always prefer it to be a little bit further out to here. That's just a personal preference thing, so I'm not going to knock that, make a mark against the figure for that. What I will mark against is the no Superman logo on the back of the cape. I understand that it is actually folded over to get the sculpt is actually folded over to give off this draping look, but you could have included a little bit of an S right there on the back, or some sort of the part of the logo that was giving off the illusion that it's covered up by the cape here. I really like the blue on him. The blue is a nice, vibrant, very just classic comic book looking Superman. And I really can't fault DC Collectibles for doing a really good job on that. As far as his articulation does go, his head can swivel full 360 rotation. His head is on a hinge joint, so you can really get him in some good flying Superman poses. So that's really good. I have to commend DC Collectibles for going with that ball jointed hinge joint, which looks really nice. His head can look down also. So there you go. He does not have really a tilt, maybe a little bit of a tilt, but it's not meant to be there, I don't think. Let's see if he's got some jive turkeys. Oh, we got some jive turkeys up in here. So there you go with the jive turkeys. Arms go up, down, full 360 rotation. We've got double jointed elbows. Decent range of motion there, definitely more than 90 degrees, so I'm pretty pleased with it. And then we have a swivel at the wrist. We have a hinge joint, which goes back and forth on both wrists, so no issue there. We do have a waist swivel, which can do a full 360 rotation. The head can also do a full 360 rotation. The ab crunch does crunch forward in a ratchet type effect. He can get him crunching way forward, like he's got, he's got a little indigestion, he's got a poop. And then we can crunch way back for those flight poses if you want to get him even further back. So that's a really good ab crunch right there. I would say one of my favorite type of ab crunches is nice ratchet, good popping ab crunch right there. So the legs go forward nicely, T-jointed hips. They don't really go back. This is about neutral. That's about back due to the sculpting of the rear end. But the legs do go out. I would be careful with these hinge joints. That is clear plastic in there, so be careful, be gentle. The upper thigh swivel is a little bit tight, but I don't mind that. I'd rather have a tight joint than a loose joint, as I always say. That's my motto. I'm going to stick to it. Double jointed knees, which a really good range of motion in the knees. And then we have a boot swivel, a ankle swivel here. My joint is a little bit tighter than normal. He does have an ankle pivot, and he can point the toe nice, and he can point the heel even better. Better range of motion for the heel point than the toe point. But he has pretty good range of motion and pretty good articulation overall. I don't really have an issue with that. I don't have any loose joints as far as, like I said, the ankles are concerned. A little bit loose in this hand, but it's not obviously it's not the worst thing in the world. I would just be very selective and maybe cross your fingers when you unpackage this guy, and hopefully he's not a loose jointed quality control nightmare. Superman, he's an important character. He's one of your matriarchal characters. Why not give him? Are we having issues? No, okay, we're not. Why not give him some extra love? And if you're going to up the price of these, you've got to give them more. You have got to give them more. As far as the size comparisons go, I have him standing up next to a old DC Direct Alex Ross Superman. Still to this day, I want to say one of my favorite Superman figures. Even though he's got a lack of articulation, he stands great. He looks like Alex Ross's rendering. I think it looks fantastic still. The blues are a little bit darker, but that's pretty much, Alex Ross's artist rendering right there. So still to this day, one of my favorites. I think he looks good though. They're around the same height on screen that I'm on. The camera that I'm looking through, it looks like they're almost the same size, but Alex Ross Superman just a hair taller, just a hair. Next up, we have the Mattel Dark Knight Returns Superman on the kind of Motu amalgamation body, I guess, or collaboration body, I should say. Obviously, this is supposed to be a different artist rendering, obviously. It's a Frank Miller artist rendering, so the colors are going to be different, but that's how he stacks up next to that Superman. And then last but not least, we have, still to this day, one of my favorite action figure lines of all time, the DC Universe Classic Superman. This is the long-haired Superman, and I still think it looks good. I like it. Both are really good-looking figures next to each other, and so yeah, there's your final comparison with Superman. Okay, and here we have him, Superman, stacked up next to two Marvel Legends. On the right here, we have the Hyperion body mold, which is Bishop. And then on the left, we have Multiple Man, which is on the Bucky Cat body mold. Okay, so my final thoughts on the DC Collectibles DC Essentials Superman. But I'm going to give this a one thumb up. I'll give it a thumb up because, not two, I'll give it a one thumb up due to, I know that if I had quality control issues, I might give this a thumbs down. And it's kind of a hit or miss if you're going to get that or not. So I'll give it a one thumb up, and I'll say buyer beware of some issues. But overall, I like the sculpt of him. I like the body sculpt looks really good. I like the differentiation in colors between the boots are a little bit of like a glossy red, and between the trunks, which are a little bit more of a flat, brighter red. Same thing with the S on the logo. I like that he is a vibrant-looking Superman. He looks like you could tear him out of the pages of a comic book. With that being said, that's pretty much it for the DC Essentials Superman. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. For those of you that are passionate about DC as much as I am, then you'll kind of understand my frustration with this line. But it's stuff that I have to point out. So at the end of the day, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. It's free. It takes you 1 second to do if you like the review. If you want to hit thumbs down, that's cool too. But let me know in the comments why you didn't like the review. If there's something I can do to improve my content, let me know. It's easy to hit the thumbs down button and not give a reason. But hitting the thumbs down button and then giving me a reason why, I can take constructive criticism. I can do that where some other people, maybe can't. Other than that, though, I enjoyed doing this review. I enjoy all of you. Thank you for the new subscription. And thank you to everyone who stayed subscribed to me. You guys are all awesome. And I hope you guys have a great day. And I'll see you on the flip side.